right, here we are. Onto the Rift for the third game. Of course, FREDIT BRION makes sure that they give you their entire money's worth for these matches, not leaving you without any of the entertainment that could have been left on the table. And that's why we love them, because they're all about their fans and giving them the longest possible experience with them on the Rift.
Yeah. I want to see KT come out in this game and just blow it out of the water with some really nice picks, you know, around these mid-game fights, because they have the Cyclone, obviously. They have Charm, right? They have the Xayah damage that you're going to have early on. She went Airy. She's got a longsword start. We all know where this is going. Yep. And, you know, with Charm into Aatrox is fantastic, right? Any sort of CC is going to be amazing in those scenarios where Aatrox is looking to pop off in mid-game fights. But if they can't play this cleanly, and the series hasn't given me a lot of hope around mid-game fights for KT ROLSTER. If there's anything, it's given me a big concern. This is actually a weak point for KT. Then that is going to be a huge problem. Now, we do see Gathering Storm here for aiming, at least. So
that's going to help save the late game of the lethality.
Xayah, a little bit, you know.
Of course, there's not a lot of frontline here, so you're not running into a big tank or anything like that necessarily. So I guess that's kind of okay. The Delight's going to get knocked up, aiming, trying to get some damage back, but you can see, I mean,
Caliber Harass is pretty strong when you have a Renata, and you obviously have the ability to push this wave with her extremely nicely. It's very frustrating to lane as KT in the early parts of the level 1 here. Yep.
You listed a whole bunch of things that KT have for mid-game fights. Lava has all of those things too.
Yes.
So this is another one of those examples of Sylas being picked in a really great angle. I think Cyclone's fantastic for him. Glacial Prison, really good as well. The quickness we've seen used to fantastic effect also. So definitely a whole lot of really good options here for Lava as far as that hijack. As Renata is on a huge winning streak.
Yeah, even Hoyt and Kellen on the list. They haven't finding that much success recently, but will be on this champion.
Wow. Sylas already back up to 7 wins in a row.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, he's been played so much.
Yeah.
Now, as good as the ultimates are to steal here, I feel like it's definitely not the best Sylas angle. Like, it's good, but he's going to be strong in mid-game fights no matter what. You have Sylas plus Aatrox, even if he doesn't have Hijack available. That's a great team fighting composition here. And yeah, it's not going to be... Okay, hold on. Umpty.
Yeah, aiming. He's relatively low on mana. He's going to get lit on fire as Henna should be delivered this kill. Yep, very comfortably. Delight tanking up the turret beautifully. Henna picks it up. Didn't really want it there. As now Cuz Nimbus strike in, and that is, oh, the bailout. It's not going to save his life, and that is 2 kills for the Monkey. All right, it looked really good for FREDIT BRION until it was an absolute disaster. Lava might also be solo killed off the back end of this one, and aiming immediately teleported back to lane, so he's not going to miss out on any of the farm.
Yeah, this ends up being really nice for KT, actually. Cuz coming in for the counter gank, picks up 2 kills. And yeah, Felios grabs 1, that's nice and all, but Xayah has teleport. Henna does not. So he is going to be, you know, back to lane late. We'll be able to, of course, catch some of those minions. But this is a pretty accelerated KT composition now. So
somewhat,
you feel good about the Wukong angle here. Is this dive, as you know, cleanly as it was taken, knows where the Wukong is right now. They have no idea where he is. And as a result, this is a very greedy play. And you have to, if you do it as cleanly as FREDIT BRION do, Henna's going to take a lot of extra turret shots. And life is at full health. So nice bailout try, but you both die. And unfortunately, you know, someone's trying to come over and help out a little bit late, a little bit slow. You know, you don't have vision of where Cuz is. It's a greedy play, and they get punished.
Yeah, they definitely do. It's not going to change the CS numbers or anything like that. Aiming doesn't pick up an assist, crucially, as well, within that moment. In fact, Life only collects 1 of those, as Grand Exit going to be utilized there for Life, as Umpty was wrapping around yet again. I like his aggression here in this early game. Still being able to farm most of his camps, but will now be relegated to tidy up duty of his own jungle.
Kind of just a little bit far behind in the Spirits, about half a level right now because of the back timing. He didn't have the teleport. It's not going to be losing out on this wave, but level 5 is going to be a hit. Level 6 is going to be a hit for aiming faster, which is quite important, actually, going into a potential tussle in a 1v1 lane where everyone else goes to Rift Herald.
Yeah.
Because both of these teams want to fight for Rift Herald so desperately. They both have really strong Rift Herald team fight compositions. I think FREDIT BRION has the better one. And Aiming might just be pinned down there on the bottom side. Or rather, Henna might be pinned down there on the bottom side because of the lane state and the faster level 6 here for Aiming, which will come online. C is about to hit level 5. Just a few more minions. Yeah. And, you know, I mean, the Wukong, he's accelerated. He's going to be feeling very good about his chances of taking a fight here on Herald.
It's true. Looking at the top side, Wolf, the good old Aatrox into a tank type matchup.
Yeah.
How are we feeling about it? You enjoying the Aatrox pick here in R4?
Well, it's, you know, in the spirit of hating on red side Aatrox picks, I will say that I didn't think it was amazing for this lane, but decent. My biggest worry for KT, though, with the Aatrox pick is not how this early laning phase is going, but actually how much value Aatrox can get on this Herald. And if KT just say, oh, I don't want to fight this Aatrox Sylas here, then FREDIT BRION gets first Herald, and FREDIT BRION has been so good at controlling early objectives and snowballing games. In game 1 even, they did just that. Like, they did mess up the way things went on that Baron and ended up losing the game, but they were massively ahead at that point too. So that's where I like the Aatrox here. We'll see how it goes in execution. But right now, you know, we haven't seen that yet, so I don't want to judge too quickly. But in terms of laning, it hasn't been my favorite.
Yep, and we shouldn't make judgments towards our Lord either. Morgan did bring out his signature Renekton, 1-0 on it, and is now going to jump on the Aatrox yet again. Trying to remember whether he has actually played another game of the Aatrox. He has not just yet. This was one of the picks that he was known for when he was back in the LPL many moons ago. As Vikla, he's rotating up to have a look for Umpty here, who is going to be discovered on his Rift Scuttler. Vikla and Cuz going to be over here, as Umpty is going to be able to secure this one, but the Cyclone comes down. Vikla finds the charm, and Umpty is just punished for greeting for the Rift Scuttler.
Yeah, and he doesn't need to force this. Now he's dead. As the Rift Herald spawns in 20, he will come up before that, but, you know, this is a huge window for KT to actually kind of have guaranteed setup for this one. Ooh. Such an important objective.
Yeah, well, Lava, if he can win this one, then that will definitely put them back into decent stead. But you're exactly right. It's an overstep for Umpty there. He has been playing, certainly on the front foot so far this series. We're going to see another battle here towards the bottom side. Henna does have red and white guns, and they're still scary. This is Aiming. He doesn't really have that many items.
Aiming has level 6 here. They're just both going to say they're not going to have their supports rotate over, so 2v2 down here makes this a 3v3 Rift Herald exchange. Now, one good thing for FREDIT BRION is Cyclone is not up for this Rift Herald fight because it was used to kill Umpty, so that's actually a huge boon for them, and as a result, they're not going to be able to take this one. So actually,
the best.
Getting a kill here does end up leading to FREDIT BRION grabbing Herald control.
Yep, and the drive by Bristle there as well. Rascal's like, nice job, guys. You just go to it. Have a good time as we check out the pick onto Umpty yet again.
Yep. Notice in live, KT going to evacuate from Drake, so that one's going to go over to FREDIT BRION. Not a whole lot to say here. Greeting for a scuttle.
And Cuz is going to be greeting for something else. Lava's going to pick up a solo kill onto the jungler. Not entirely sure how that one was set up, but certainly not so good here from Cuz.
Yeah, what we last saw in the live picture-in-picture was KT backing away from the Drake, and he's just caught there. We'll see what happens exactly in the replay once we get back to it, but FREDIT BRION will take first Drake and a free Wukong.
Yeah.
And I believe some bounty gold probably from him as well. Not 100% sure on that.
And some buffs.
Yeah, buffs taken away.
Just Herald's a very happy Sylas.
Yeah, Herald's up here for FREDIT BRION, you know, and this is a good angle for the Aphelios to pick up some plate money.
Well, loyalty program going to come on through there as Vikla gets his hand shook against his will. As nice little charm there from Vikla, but not able to find the Orb of Deception, so no real damage onto the Sylas, who's about to have his teleport back up, so not under any threat of losing too much here. He's down about 10 CS. Not really end of the world or anything like that, so as we're going to see how it all happened.
Yeah, KT were trying to start this one up. There's a ward here, so FREDIT BRION are able to identify this. And Cuz and Life back out in live. And then I guess it's Spirit Rush who catches it. He has hijack, he interrupts him.
Just called back and
yeah. As simple as that. Fairly greedy attempt here after giving up the Herald, and without Cyclone for Herald fight, I think they probably, if they had grouped, still could have contested there and tried to make it into a more complex exchange, but they just gave it up, then lost the Drake. So FREDIT BRION get both early objectives again. Feels like I'm watching the same game 3 different times with different drafts, and not that many differences in the first 2, of course.
Yeah. As KT, they also get themselves the blue side once again, so it's just kind of blue side of the map are the protagonists in this particular show that we're watching, and they seem to be winning every time. We don't really get to the Empire Strikes Back just yet, where the baddies seem to win. It's just all seems to be coming up blue. But we'll see whether FREDIT BRION can turn this one back around again, because this has been sort of flipping and flopping quite a lot, and there is still a Rift Herald to be put down, and FREDIT BRION can build a lot of momentum off that. We have to then talk about the fact that, you know, yes, KT have found a few of these skirmishes, making things happen, but, okay, not going to find the charm. However, Umpty's still going to take a bit of damage. I'm still so scared of the fact that Aphelios does far more consistent damage.
Yeah.
And Silas exists. So I think FREDIT BRION are in a great spot.
There's, you know, okay, I have to watch this unfold.
Well, especially now. The quickness has come down. Life is just going to take so much damage. Hostile takeover came in there as now Cuz just getting thrown around like a ragdoll. Delight just controlling this fight right here. Lava is trying to keep himself alive, but the abduct is not going to be enough to save him. Orb of Deception not doing the damage that it wants to. So I believe that was just a 1-for-1 in the end.
Yeah, 1-for-1, but very messy on both sides here. I think the fight for FREDIT BRION is amazing if you have Morgan or Henna there, but they end up outplaying KT, but still trading 1-for-1 at the end. And, you know, FREDIT BRION, if they win this fight in a very solid way, it's not a trade if they get a 1-for-0 or they end up grabbing 2 there. You feel really good about it, but trading kills like this in the mid-game against KT feel amazing, especially when it's the Ahri who's the biggest winner of this, picking up a 2nd kill.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm most concerned about here is this fight is, you know, the KT are trying to bait this and turn this. Life, of course, gets a double charm, and then he's like, okay, we're out. I am not actually sticking around for this. Then the Cyclone value is pretty massive as well. But Lava's able to pick up a kill, sacrifices his life for it, gives a kill over to Vikla. Don't like that as much. Would have rather them just kind of handshake that away and say, you know what, we didn't actually end up getting the kill on Rakan. Let's just leave.
Well, Morgan is now also going to be punished. Does have to flash that. It's a phenomenal ultimate out of Rascal, but Morgan's able to umbrally dash to get himself out of the way after the flash over the wall. And so the Aatrox will survive.
Yep, gets out of there. Aiming, looking to grab plates bottom side here. Does have his Eclipse, so item advantage here is pretty massive for him when these AD carries are left in a 1v1. This happens all the time with Xayah Aphelios. Xayah's just left in this early game where she has an item advantage. Even if Aphelios has Gale Force, she can look for some really aggressive trades. Now Delight rotates down, but it's a trap.
Oh dear, Umpty is able to come in whenever he would like to. He's charging up that Vault Breaker, but decides against it. They get the Feather Storm out, and they are just going to be able to back away. Lava over here does have Spirit Rush available, as this ward is not going to be taken down because Lava leaves too early and gets hit by the loop.
So,
love it.
The winner of this exchange is hard to identify because they're both trying to group up for Drake Prio, and neither team gets a strong win. Like, they got Drake Prio, Bro did, but KT are over here getting this bottom lane pushed over. Cuz is rotated in. He has Cyclone back available. And it looks like we're going to have just straight up a 5v5 fight. Both of these teams extremely strong at fighting at this moment. Morgan does not have teleport, nor does Rascal. He's going up and is trying to hide where he is, Morgan is right now, and wants to keep it hidden. KT are like, oh, is Aatrox coming in or not?
Well, they get the bad news as Charm will connect here. Lava actually able to dash his way out. Does have the Abduct as well, as now Cuz trying to find a bit of damage here as in goes Live. Finds himself the grand entrance as Cuz is going to lock down the kill. Vikla on this Ahri, absolutely fantastic as well as the bailout comes through. They try to keep Lava alive, but it's not going to work out. Rascal will unfortunately fall, but FREDIT BRION still lose out on the trade.
Some assists being picked up here for Vikla again, and FREDIT BRION losing control of the map now in this exchange. Losing this Aatrox before a Drake fight is not good news, as he was hiding where he was, but he is eventually found, tries to make a play mid lane. And this is what we're talking about, Ahri's value against FREDIT BRION's comp that is trying to essentially run at them at all costs. someone is always going to get charmed. Someone is always going to be loser. Now, if you could still steamroll your way through the rest of the fight because one charm isn't enough to stop all the Aatrox power, all the Sylas power, you feel fairly good about this. But trying to dive an Ahri, who has Everfrost here, just not a good look, unfortunately. Morgan gets cycloned, and Aphelios, who only has his Gale Force, isn't even nearby, isn't able to help out, and this is just a dive too far, unfortunately, for FREDIT BRION.
Yeah, I mean, KT just punished. KT just able to outplay. And I wanted the reason I'm a bit distracted is because I don't even think it's necessarily like the Ahri getting through. I think it's just how incredibly comfortable Vikla is on this champion.
Yeah.
He is really making it look like he's one of the players that we're like, all right, you can play it. You can pick it up. I think we're putting him on the list.
I think
he's
so.
solidly there.
And he's, playing alongside Arya is okay.
Oh dear. Okay, well, World Ender comes through, but I think it might be the Lord's World that is ending. It takes a little while, and we'll give Lava some time to get in there. In goes Umpty as well, knocked up by the Cyclone, but he's back in there again. Hostile takeover to come down as well. Rascal ignored because they want the squishy targets. Life trying to dash out of there. Cuz being tricky, but he will be taken down. And FREDIT BRION get their revenge top side of the map. Well, KT ruined their outer turret mid.
I'm going to take down the turret here, so fairly successful here for FREDIT BRION on the top side defense, but a trade and an extra turret going into KT's pocket. So definitely feeling the best right now is seeing if Vikla can find these stragglers. Not going to actually commit to looking in those brushes, and I think he'd do well not to because they had not completed their recalls and would have actually been disastrous, but Gore Drinker was a mistake. We all know it. No. But Morgan buys a ton of time here with it, obviously, and his World Ender for the teleports to come through. But unfortunately, FREDIT BRION don't have a comp that can actually fight once the Aatrox dies here. Lava has charms, but the Cyclone is good. It's a buy only. There's no AD carry in this fight. So yes, they do trade back. But KT are going to get the mid turret, and this is a huge win for them. Ahri, if she was here, I think this fight looks very clean for KT top side, and they actually win it. But she's not there, didn't have teleport. She's here now.
Yeah, she's going to be able to throw a bit of damage towards Lava. Cuz will secure this, as the Rift Herald is going to be taken down 18 minutes into the game. Nicely done before she headed back to the Void. Does mean Shirley does get some use here on the map. And KT still with a gold advantage. I'm still thinking, if Henna can have another one of these carry performances, the Aphelios has been very quiet so far this game.
Yeah, it gets better and better for Henna this game.
Yeah.
And, FREDIT BRION, we're at a 1-to-1 Drake split. It's Infernal Soul, so just to make things even more tense, you're on the Rift.
Earth, Wind, and Fire, I think, back-to-back.
Yeah.
As well, although in different orders.
Yeah. The biggest problem for FREDIT BRION is actually Vikla, as you've said. He has been so consistent on this pick. He really hurts the engage potential for FREDIT BRION. And someone is going to have to lock him down. Now, Sylas went Everfrosting. This is the right call. But when Ahri looks for a charm, there has to be a punish play ready. And I think that playing reactionarily to Vikla and trying to play around the front line that this Vi and Aatrox can give you with Sylas, so that Aphelios can pop off, is probably a better way than just trying to run at them as FREDIT BRION and be like, we got a lot of CC, we got a hard engage comp. Because the Ahri is fed, and she's happy to soak that engage.
Well, Cuz is going to dive forward. Lava's just going to use his stolen Spirit Rush in order to get himself out of dodge. There's another one of those. Uses it here as Shirley's going to pop down towards this top side and look to lock down another turret here for KT. It's largely why they have a gold lead at all, is their structure destruction. And they will be able to get another one here, 20 minutes into the game.
So a lot of power in the fact that these turrets are down and that Vikla on this Ahri, so many champions like Ahri, Assassins, General LeBlanc love when these turrets go down early because it gives you so much freedom to actually dive deep on the map, fight for vision, and actually even punish a support who's trying to clear vision around Baron, for example, while you're side laning top side and there's no turret there. So Delight's life becomes a lot more difficult in these moments. The Ahri has a lot more agency. It's only a 200 gold lead he has this game, but he's stacked up a lot of Dark Seal, and he's going to be able to pick any squishy target that gets caught, and the utility he brings with the charm against FREDIT BRION's comp, not even for their comp, but against FREDIT's comp, is so massive.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really important. They, of course, only have one real huge threat as far as a lot of consistent damage. I guess there's an argument there to be had for Lava, but if he gets into the back and snipes Henna, he's got multiple forms of CC, so he's not going to be too worried about the cleanse as long as he can, you know, get his Orb of Deception in the right spot. So I'm looking forward to seeing whether Vikla can be the difference maker in some of these later fights where Henna is going to be so important to FREDIT BRION.
Umpty probably don't want to stay around here too long. I believe Rascal saw him, actually, or maybe he wasn't looking. It was weird, the vision that was changed there. Here we go.
Yep, they are going to deny Rascal's escape here. Yeah, no Arctic Assault for you. And that is going to be the handshake guaranteeing it. But in goes Life. He kind of misses the CC this time, and Delight is going to be able to lock down that kill. They pick up a free extra one also, as Vikla kind of donated his life there. Back to come through now for Henna, as we're looking for our first turret on the side, sorry, second turret on the side of FREDIT BRION.
Very messy game here, to be totally honest. We're 14 kills in, it's 7-7. We're constantly fighting, we're constantly trading back, but that's what we expected to see with these compositions that are so strong around skirmishes in the mid game, which is where we, you know, stand firmly here at 21.5 minutes with neither team having a big edge. Now, I was worried for Umpty here for a moment because I thought KT were looking to group down and look for a push on the turret, but it's actually just Rascal alone. KT, leave him out to dry here for quite some time, and if you're going to have your side laner push this hard for a turret, you better have support. And they do decide, okay, we should come over and save him, but it's way too little, too late. So FREDIT BRION pick up so much gold here on the back of that turret defense.
Just fantastic from FREDIT BRION to be one step ahead of the play, right? KT did have everyone rotating over there. Rascal was like, I know this one. You know, I just moved this wave up to the turret, and then they're like, oh, we can get a pick, but then my team's there. But then my team's there.
Yeah, they weren't there.
Yeah, and they just didn't manage to catch up in time. Umpty, great positioning to start that fight off.
It was, you know, again, a fairly risky play from Umpty. Not extremely risky, but his team was behind him. You know, it was a setup play. And KT, because they didn't all group for the safe turret push, they wanted the punish play. They were the ones who got punished, as you're saying, in the end. Now KT grouping up for Baron. They have a lot of vision around the river. FREDIT BRION do end up resetting after those picks, and so don't actually have a lot of control over this Baron pit. But I don't think either of these teams really wants to start Baron just yet. We're not really at that stage of damage, and the turn potential and the skirmish potential of both these teams is still insanely strong. If you could identify as KT that they're all very far away, that's the only way you start this Baron up with the blue side advantage they have. But because they don't know that full information, it's very difficult for them to make that call.
Yeah, no, I think it's very, very hard. And it gets harder as the game goes. That's the thing that makes it really difficult, right? You've got this lethality Xayah that doesn't do a lot of consistent damage necessarily. You can, but you're not going to be doing as much as Henna when he hits a few items. As Flash comes out from Delight, trying to get himself to safety. It's going to be difficult, though, as Umpty at least throws through the ultimate. Now Henna with red and white guns, but he's zoned out of the fight. Just can't get through the wall here. Finally, Gale forces in as Lava picks up that first kill. Henna now in the backline, able to DPS. Some knockups, a good disengage from KT, but the chains will connect. Lava gets the Kingslayer off as well, but FREDIT BRION had no follow-up. They're not able to go in and protect their Silas.
Yeah, Henna did a lot of damage that fight. You can start to see the power of this Aphelios. Now on 2 items, but also with the proper gun set up 2 straight-up 5v5 fight. But Vikla did so much damage before the fight even started. It was really difficult for FREDIT BRION to continue to chase there. It does end up being, again, another trade of kills. We're just non-stop taking these skirmish fights here as the entire fight breaks out over Delight trying to clear vision. And like I said, the Renata really going to struggle into this Ahri because she's a squishy support who tries to clear vision. Vikla flashes for the kill, but then he's very far forward here. Ends up getting completely executed by Lava, who then picks up a really nice Xayah ultimate to try to chase, but then it's a choke point you're chasing into here. Fortunately, you know, not going to be enough for Lava. So 2-for-1 trade for KT, and Lava trying his best to actually chase him down there, but Henna had already used everything he had. And you're a melee champion who doesn't have an ult to steal anymore. Still pre-16. A bit of an overextension there, but trade up for KT at the end of the day.
And I want to say, Life has played fantastically on this Rakan, has really taken control of so many of these fights, able to utilize the pick in order to disengage or to engage. The disengage in that last fight that also baited Lava in absolutely fantastically. Done there by Life. But 20 seconds, and we will have our second Infernal Drake of the game spawning. KT managed to get the first. Soul Point available for them. They can lock this one down. But FREDIT BRION do have control of the river, while KT have control of mid lane. Bit of a flank angle here for Umpty. They're trying to corral them. Henna looking to land some damage. Good little charm connects on Umpty, and he'll just get blown up. No chance for him. No chance for Henna either, who tries to Gale Force to get himself out of the way. Cuz is going to almost get hit by his teammate's ultimate. Oh, it's Lava that hijacked it and took it away. Cuz will get secured though. And FREDIT BRION are looking to try and turn. Even though Umpty has died, Henna's still doing a lot of damage, and Lord Morgan can be there as that front line.
There's just not going to be a clean team fight in this game. It's just not going to happen, Atlas. And Henna gets a few of those pieces of honey fruit, comes back up to half health, has awkward guns for the fight, but does some damage back. KT looking to actually hold on to this Drake. Henna's still here, does not hold the back.
Look at Morgan. He just walks in there.
TP comes through.
Zero fear whatsoever. Both junglers are dead. Umpty's now running back, but there are no smites for anyone as FREDIT BRION do pull it out of the pit. Aiming, wants to be able to snipe it, and he isn't going to be able to.
Nice try.
Good old jungle Aatrox here is going to lock down the Drake very comfortably, and we're 2 apiece.
There's just not a whole lot to analyze in these fights, man. It is just bloodthirst.
Some buttons landed, Wolf, and the other buttons did not land.
Yeah, that is most of it. This looked really good for KT at the start of things. Umpty gets charmed, the CC chain's there, and they're on top of Henna. But there's no follow-up damage here, unfortunately. Aiming knows that he's not auto-attacking anybody at the start of this, so Renata ultimate zones them away, so Henna feels comfortable to actually come back over, tosses in his Moonlight Vigil, which isn't big. And then FREDIT BRION are like, ooh, we almost have enough health bars here because we have an Aatrox, but it's very scary because there's an Ahri there, she can charm, so let's back away. Then when KT are going to go over, they're like, well, if you think you can attack a dragon, then absolutely not. Then FREDIT BRION are ready to fight again. And it's just barely, of course, tied up now here on the Drakes. It looks very scary for both teams there in that neutral after the initial trade of kills.
Yeah, it's absolute chaos here. And I was trying to focus on who was going to kill Cuz, and therefore I missed the fact that Lava stole a Glacial Prison and then threw it at the guy who then immediately used his stopwatch. So not actually finding any value out of it, as aiming is going to be delivered. The enemy's red buff. Definitely good news here for KT.
Yeah, and, you know, these fights, I think, become more and more FREDIT BRION favored as this game goes on because aiming is, or rather Henna on this Aphelios is going to outpace aiming. Aiming is losing, you know, the item advantage that he has because, yeah, he still has one at the moment, but the items he has on the champion he has is not as valuable as Henna's damage and the consistent damage output he's going to have once he hits that third one.
Well, this Baron is going down extraordinarily low, and Umpty, they have like no information. They just don't know that this is dead. They went down to 7 health, did not matter whatsoever, as Sejuani is going to secure it with her extraordinarily powerful auto attacks that are able to do at least, Wolf, more than 7 damage.
Yeah, nobody is smiting today.
Yeah. Sometimes you just watch when a Baron goes down. You
Sometimes
just watch the wall.
Sometimes you're just that confident FREDIT BRION is going to do absolutely nothing. And they were right. FREDIT BRION didn't have any vision, didn't have any control of this. IE still not done here for Henna. That's going to be the big moment where he can actually start to do a ton in these team fights. Because he's already, you know, doing more than Xayah, mostly, if he's not just 100-0'd in the fight and then, of course, forced away. But there's the Serpent's Fang coming through. Still a huge lead for aiming, but Aphelios will be able to keep up a lot in these upcoming fights. Death Stance done for Morgan, has a stopwatch done for Umpty. Soul Point fight is going to be, it's going to be pretty nuts. It is going to be a pop-off fight. And Baron buff should give KT a ton of cryo. Of course, the timing of this is amazing for them for setting up for this. But got to make sure that nobody dies beforehand and nobody overextends. You know, I'm not ready to trust just yet.
No silliness, please, Wolf.
Yeah.
I want none of the silliness.
Yeah, I'm just not ready to trust the team with a Baron buff is actually not going to just totally throw it away, okay?
Someone's been playing a little bit too much solo queue recently. As Vikla is going to get the shove on as the rest of KT looking for that flank around the side. Delight in the brush, but realizes that it's very dangerous to be there. There's the Glacial Prison collected. Lava still not level 16 yet. as there is the Glacial Prison that does go down. Umpty just dives himself in there, does a fair bit of damage. Hostile Takeover also going to come down as, all right, Assault and Battery comes in, and here is Morgan into the backline. The Xayah immediately goes down. Life has to go golden. Vickler off to the sides doing a bunch of work, but that Infernum, now that the Infinity Edge is done, is doing some damage. But Vickler still alive. He's the dangerous one. It's Cuz trying to get in there, and Vickler's going to kite them. Henna, can he stay alive? Is the question. He's down so low as Rascal was threatening. He doesn't have the ulti available though. And KT somehow limped through the team fight.
They have the better items here at this point, and the Xayah, does go down, but does a ton of damage on the way, and Henna isn't there to actually follow the damage. He's a low-range AD carry. He's basically an ult button at this stage in time, even with the IE done, when the hard engage is that far away from where he's standing. So even though the engage is amazing for Morgan and Umpty, it's not enough if there's no follow-up. And Lava is playing a melee champion. He's playing the Silas this time around. So it's not like he can actually just follow it from a million miles away. As watch where Henna is when the angle comes through. Of course, teleport comes through, hidden from Morgan. Renata ult is amazing. Umpty's ready to follow up, but Henna is just so far away from the rest of this fight. Can't actually hit as KT kite back, and Cuz gets insane value out of this Wukong pick once again.
Yeah, no, it's just absurd. And Vickler's ability to kite out this entire fight.
Vickler has played the game of his life.
Yeah, no, seriously. Seriously, I don't think that this game would look anything like what it does if Vickler wasn't playing so extraordinarily well. As now Lava going to dive in yet again, find some quickness value, flashes on top of the Ahri as well, but the Spirit Rush is available once again. An explosion of damage, and there goes the Renata Glass, because aiming can Blade Call to get a bunch of this damage onto Henna and to Umpty, whilst the rest of KT are dealing with the Aatrox. And now Umpty, yep, not long for this world. KT will pick themselves up an ace. They are just playing better, Wolf.
It's one of those KT 2-1, nothing to see here angles.
Absolutely.
There were definitely no problems in game one. We were not behind game two. We could just let it go game three. A lot of awkward skirmishes, but we were dragged across the finish line by a really nice disengage there when FREDIT BRION decided to pull the trigger on the bottom side. KT ROLSTER, the better team tonight, and they are going to, for the first time since franchise history, take a playoff spot.
They will. 2-1 victory, enough to guarantee it. They already had a 99.67% chance, but they got themselves that extra 3.3. Absolutely fantastic stuff here for KT. Well deserved. Took them far longer than it should have. However, I think this team has really made a huge turnaround this year. Starting off not necessarily as strong as we expected. I think a lot of your frustrations there in spring were well warranted, Wolf, but after we heard some rumors that KT was scrimming well at the beginning of summer, they didn't quite find it. Now they have.